Ready?
I'm Bala. I happened to found a company called Open Advertising 10 years back, along with a partner of mine, mostly because nobody else would give me a job. On the 22nd of May, in the edition of the finals of the IPL. Again, there are two teams that are playing which have nothing whatsoever to do with the Chennai Super Kings. And again, Whistlepowder is trending and CSK is trending, right? So this is a team where we don't have any players because all our players have been given away to the two new teams that have come on board. And so all you have is one depressed social media following, right? One depressed team of social media admins, and that's pretty much all there was to the team. I mean, there was nothing else to the brand other than these two things, and yet we managed to trend. And not a single rupee of in the entire history of the Chennai Super Kings, not a single rupee has been spent in terms of paid promotions. All that you see is completely organic. Right?
Happy World Social Media Day, you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I know it's been an incredible 2 days. We've had some of the best speakers in the industry coming and sharing their knowledge with us. And I know it's a lot to take in. And we would have no one other than Bala here to talk about the entire journey of how they grew Chennai Super Kings, the cricketing brand, the cricketing giant on social media. How do you even manage the hype and deliver to that is something which Bala and the entire team has done brilliantly. So thank you so much for joining us here today, Bala. This is the grand finale. Thank you so much for joining us and making these 2 days possible. And the next 30 to 40 minutes are going to be as incredible as always. Over to you, Kritika, who will also be a host for today.
Okay, hi folks. I don't have to tell you more. It's been total fun, I hope so, for the 2 days of summit. And today it's going to be the desert of your summit. You know why? Because the session is going to be sweet, strong, and splendid. And I don't have to tell you anymore. You can see the people are wearing the Chennai Super Kings t-shirts, and you can see everybody is in yellow. Yeah, of course. It's so much fun. And one more thing that's going to be super, super special today is because we have Mrs. Balamanian. She's fondly called as this strategic partner of the firm OPN Advertising Private Limited. She is the mastermind behind the CSK guys. I mean, trust me, you are all here CSK fans and you all know the journey of the CSK in IPL. But she is going to tell us what was happening behind that screen. You have always wondered how did the Whistlepowder song become a national anthem even when IPL was not happening. People were celebrating CSK on social media. I think that's the epitome of social media success anyway, right? There are like so many questions in lined up for her, starting from very favorite fan questions like, can I meet Dhoni? Can I like meet the mastermind behind the Twitter handle and stuffs like that, to even more strategic questions like how even they were thinking out things like that. So I don't have to keep you all waited, because like the more I say, you are like, Kritika, please, we want to hear it from her. Okay, so the stage is hers. Thank you for joining us today. And this is not just going to be the end of the summit, but the new beginning for your social media. Over to Bala.
Thank you, Kritika. It is suddenly when you were, giving my introduction, I was wondering, see who is coming over here, kind of a thing. So I'm not the brains behind CSK by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't think a team like CSK can be built by one individual in any case. There is a huge team that is behind this, and I'm just happy that I got to be a fly in the wall in this entire thing. But what I can do is I can share with you the journey that we've gone through over the last 12 years that we've been associated with this brand, and it has been an incredible high, and I'm happy to be able to share that thing with you today. Okay, so shall I go ahead and share my screen now?
Yes, sure, Bala. Please, we are all waiting for that secret presentation, that secret sauce.
Okay, so Thank you once again for having me as part of your summit. I'm sure that it's been a very enriching summit for everybody, and so here goes. Okay, so just a little bit about the story today. Today, what I'm going to tell you is the Chennai Super Kings story, and that's pretty much really what this is. So it's I'm just narrating to you incidents and events as they happened and as we thought them through. So I'm not going to give you too much of gyan on this. It's whatever you take out, and I think we can discuss because the learnings is it's what each of us takes out of this thing, right? And I'm, as Kritika very generously complimented, I'm Bala. I happened to found a company called Open Advertising 10 years back along with a partner of mine, mostly because nobody else would give me a job. But besides that, I mean, we're just a little bit about Open. So we are around 10 years old, and we have 25 people working with us. We're a creative agency, which means we're not really a social media agency. I mean, for us, everything, is dictated by the idea. So if the idea takes you to social media, we go to social media. We go to television, you have to go to television, you go to television. So some of the clients, basically for us, the only thing is that, to approach everything with an open mind, right? With a beginner's mindset. Not act as if you know everything that there is to know, because we certainly don't know everything that there is to know. In fact, most things we don't know. So it's just to approach every problem, every communication task ahead of you with a very open mind. I think that's when you get some really interesting stuff out. Clients include Chennai Super Kings, India Cements, Gulf, Z, Tamil, as well as Thirai, and a whole host of other things, clients who we work with on a project basis. We're crazy Tamil, Tamil Nadu fans. We have everything. We're Chennai fans, but also Tamil Nadu fans. And very proud of everything to do with Tamil, the language, the culture, everything. We also love sports, obviously. Can't handle but I like Chennai Super Kings and not fall in love with sports. Dogs and memorable ad campaigns. We also like street food. So anybody who's welcome to come to our office if you bring us some food to eat. Okay. So since this is called the Storyteller Summit, I thought that, I thought I'll start off with a story. Okay. And the story I would like to actually begin on the 5th of April, 2017. It's a very significant date because it actually marks the date which is the lowest point of the Chennai Super Kings brand. Why? Because that was the year that we did not play in the IPL. We were banned for 2 years. And so that edition of the IPL, which was the 10th edition of the IPL, was starting, and we were not a part of it. And on that day, there is a match between CSK and between Sunrisers and RCB, and the hashtag CSK the King of IPL trends. Okay, and the same thing was repeated on the 22nd of May. On the 22nd of May, in the edition of the finals of the IPL. Again, there are two teams that are playing which have nothing whatsoever to do with the Chennai Super Kings. And again, Whistle Poder is trending and CSK is trending, right? So this is a team where we don't have any players because all our players have been given away to the two new teams that have come on board. And so all you have is one depressed social media following, right? One depressed team of social media admins. And that's pretty much all there was to the team. There was nothing else to the brand other than these two things. And yet we managed to trend. And not a single rupee of, in the entire history of the Chennai Super Kings, not a single rupee has been spent in terms of paid promotions. All that you see is completely organic. Right? We weren't expecting to trend. We weren't aiming to trend. We weren't doing any of those things. The only reason why we were on social media was to say, look, you have a set of fans who despite the fact that the team is banned, is continuing to follow you. So let us just try and engage with them, so that when the team comes back, you're not building from a scratch, and that you already have a base of fans. And obviously, I mean, like as fans ourselves, I mean, like, it's depressing to see a Dhoni wear purple or a Raina wear an orange and play. And so you're like, whatever I'm feeling, those fans also must be feeling. So let's just talk to them. So that was the objective with which we started. So why did we trend? If you look at it, it was not something that happened after the ban or any time in the recent past. It actually goes back to the very beginning of the tournament. See, one of the things that, as I told you, we were fortunate enough to actually be a part of the team from the very beginning. That is, from the time that India Cements won the franchise to have a Chennai team. From that time onwards, we've been on board. And one of the things that India Cements, that was the client there, was very clear on, was that, look, at the end of the day, we need this to be a team that is owned by cricket fans. And you have references like this. I mean, like, if you take an FC Barcelona or any of the, legendary EPL, European League teams, you will find that there is so much of a fan. Fans actually own the team. In fact, in FC Barcelona, fans actually own shares in the team, and they actually get a say in terms of everything to do with the team, which is, who are the players who are coming in, what are the sponsorship deals that are struck. Everything is actually decided by the fans. So although that level of fan engagement was not possible in this context, India Cements was very clear that, this is a team for the Chennai cricket lovers. So we need the fans to own this from the very beginning. And that trigger played a very, very vital role, because everything that we did subsequently was only dictated by that thing. Does it involve the fan? Is the fan at the center of all the action? If yes, then you go ahead and do it. If no, then don't do it. It was very simple. It was a very, very clear-cut mandate that we had. So, which is why we went about building stronger ties with fans all the time. A clear example is this.
Chennai Super Kings को whistle पड़े. Super Kings का whistle पड़े. Chennai Super Kings का whistle पड़े.
So I don't know how many of you have actually seen this particular video. Okay, I'll just give you a very, very quick recap. See, this was in the second season of the IPL. And because the general elections were coming, that year the matches got shifted to South Africa. Right now, the client told us, okay, guys, you don't have to do anything this season. We're not sacking you. You get your passports ready, go to South Africa, enjoy the match, and come back. We don't have to do anything. Then what? I mean, the previous year, it was complete chaos, right? I mean, like, we were running around like headless chickens, trying to get something done, and then figuring out, oh, that was not what we needed at all, and everything else. And then suddenly you're saying, boss, IPL, we don't have to do anything. I mean, what is wrong with you? He said, no, we don't have to sell tickets. We don't have to do anything. So Cricket South Africa is taking care of everything. All you need to do is to go to South Africa, enjoy the match. One match we will pay for you to go and see. That is all. Now then come back. But as fans, I mean, like, for us, we knew that, in the first season, because the work was so crazy, right? And we pulled in people from everywhere to come and work with us to just get this thing done. So as a reward, the entire office would go for all the matches we would buy tickets, and we would go, and we could only buy like the Tara ticket equivalent, but we would go and we would watch the matches in the stadium. And we knew that, that kind of a fan emotion, you're never going to be able to replicate it when you're watching it on television in your own house. So we said, okay, but can we at least do something? I mean, like some, online video or something like that. He said, see, the client was very clear. He said, see, as it is, I'm spending a lot of money in sending all the players, the team, the management, everybody to South Africa, and I'm not making enough money. So don't come to me and say, I need more money for this, I need more money for that. I don't have any money. If you want, one of you cancel your tickets to South Africa and come, and with that money, you guys do whatever you want. So you're like, okay. So then, thankfully for us, what happened, some of the players, not Dhoni, but at least we had some Raina, some Parthiv Patel, some Hayden. Few of these players actually were coming to Chennai for a camp for a few days before they were going off to South Africa. And at that point in time, we got like a 15-minute window with each of these players, right? And we had no idea what to do. Because, I mean, that evening we were going to shoot the players. We had 15 minutes with each of these players, and we had no idea what to do. So we just said, okay, we'll just ask them to whistle. Okay, and then we'll figure out what to do with it later. See, so we just asked them to whistle, and we said, just say Chennai Super Kings whistle podu, periya whistle podu. That is all. That is all we did. The rationale is, I don't know how many of you here are Rajini fans, right? But if you're a Rajini fan and if you've gone for a first day first show of a Rajini movie, what do you know? You can't hear any dialogues. All you will hear is only whistles, right? We said we want a kind of affection for the team that Rajini has in Kollywood, right? And logically, if you think about it, when India is playing Pakistan, does anybody need to come and tell you, cheer for India? Nobody needs to tell you, no. You'll cheer only for India. Unless you hate India so much, in which case you'll cheer for Pakistan. But nothing, I can't come. But putting an ad is not going to change your mind one way or another, right? If India is playing even, say, South Africa, you're still going to cheer India because this is your team. Then so the only thing that we thought was that why should we say come and cheer for Chennai Super Kings? That's obvious. I mean, this is your team. You're going to cheer for this team. So what if I told you how to cheer for this team? So that was the origin of this whole whistle podu, right? And so we actually put this up on our YouTube page. And remember, this was several years ago. This was in the year 2008. Okay, this was before Kolaveri, before YouTube trending videos, before Twitter trends, and before any of these things, right? So in a matter of, I think, some 4 or 5 days, we had managed to get around some 25,000 views on this video. And there were people who were writing into us saying, hey, I will send you my video, I will send you my video, and things like that. So somebody who was sitting in New Zealand would send in their video. Some of it was nice quality, some of it was terrible quality. But it exceeded our expectations. And there were a lot of people also who said, boss, I don't know. Because remember, again, this is 2008. Okay, so most of us were still were using semi-smartphones. I mean, like, by today's standards, they were calculators. They were not even phones, right? So there was a lot of people were like, I don't know how to shoot, and I don't know how to upload, and I don't know how these things, but I want to be a part of this. So to those people, we wrote in and said, okay, so, on Saturday, we're going to be shooting in ABC areas, and Sunday, we're going to be shooting in these areas. So will you guys come and be a part of it? So the number of people who turned up, we just created a video and we just put it. Again, all this was only meant for that YouTube page that we had and on the CSK website, right? Which had some traffic, but it was not massive amounts of traffic. After having seen that, suddenly we get a mail from Channel V. Okay, and Channel V, somebody says, hey, we're calling from we're writing to you from Channel V. Whoever did this video, can you get in touch with us? We're like, okay. So then we call up and we say, so they said, we actually want to air this video. So can you send us the tape? We've shot it on like some, some handycam kind of a thing. So we're like, but we don't have any money to advertise on Channel V and all that. I mean, so he said, no, we won't charge you anything. We just want to air this as content. So can you just send it to us? We will air it free. So we're like, is somebody playing a prank on us? I mean, why am I getting free airtime suddenly? So we're like, okay, but you have to send us in your official letterhead. You tell us that, I am really working in Channel V and you send us this thing, then we'll get back. I actually sent it to us. So we went back to the client and we said, look, there's really somebody from Channel V and they're going to play this and they want it. I mean, they don't want to pay any, they don't want us to pay any money. It's just, we just have to give them the tip. Then we give them the tip. The client said, no problem. If it's free publicity, go ahead and give the tip to whoever wants the tip. So we just went there and we created one, we actually at that point, we took it to an editing studio and then we made some, some jazzing things up and all that. We sent it off. And seeing that, suddenly Sony called us and said, hey, what is this thing that you're playing on Channel V? Why am I not getting that thing? I am the official broadcaster for IPL. Why is Channel V got some special content? She said, no, they're playing it free. She said, okay, you give it to me. I'll also play it free for you. So you're like, okay, no problem. Here, one more tape. You take it and you go. Right? So that was actually how Whistlepoder became popular. Right? Because it was not meant to go on television at all. But by the time it went on television, in the subsequent years, if you go and search on YouTube, you search for hashtag Whistlepoder, you will find that a majority of the videos are not actually done by us. In fact, for the first 2 years, we made the official Whistlepoder video. From the third year onwards, all the footage that you see is actually done by fans. All we do is that we reach out to the fans who have made the videos and say, you send us your tape. Then we make, the only effort that we put in is to edit it into a nice seamless thing. And then, and that's what gets aired on television as well. So for the last 7-8 years, we've actually been having a free ride. It's all free content, OC content. Somebody makes the content, somebody airs the content. We just come and sit and cut it together and then we send it out. So that's all we actually do, right?
Chennai Super Kings.
Sorry. Yeah. So this was pretty much where we, what I was telling you about. So when we did this, it actually started off a trend and to be honest, now we can tell you that, it was intrinsically rooted in the local culture and, we captured the popular, but at that point in time, we had no idea. We just said, hey, this looks nice. This works. As a fan, I like to see this. Okay. So let's just go ahead with that. So that was the plan. And slowly we started doing small things that actually had a huge cascading effect, which we never, to be honest, anticipated. I'll just tell you. So you saw all those places, no? You saw something happen in San Francisco, something is happening in Copenhagen, something is happening in UK, in pretty much every cricket playing nation. Now, none of this was done by us. You saw that there's that first video where you saw some two people take out their t-shirts and dance in fruit shop outlet in Chennai. That was the only thing that was done by us. Okay, so we only did one video, okay, where we basically had like a small flash mob. Basically, the idea again came only from the fans. They said, we want to be a part of this year's Whistle Podu. So he said, okay, but we don't have any plans to shoot anything this year because anyway, there's so much of footage available. I might as well use that footage rather than create something on our own. So he said, no, you think of something. So we said, okay, at that point in time was just when, we had heard of some couple of flash mobs that had happened somewhere in the US and somewhere in China. Not Whistle Podu flash mobs, general flash mobs. So he said, what if, because the IPL season is coming once again, what if we did one Whistle Podu flash mob somewhere in Chennai? So we were just having this discussion, and then Fruit Shop, those guys said, hey, you can have it over here, you can just do it over here. So he said, okay. And so some of the fans actually came, and so we called up these fans who said, can we shoot? Said, do you want to be a part of this? Yeah, of course we want to be a part of it. Okay, very good. So then we got these guys, made them dance. We took a video of it, again with one handy cam, and put it up online. Seeing that there were actually college students in the US, some IT professionals in San Francisco, some bunch of Indians in Copenhagen of all places, right? Everywhere, suddenly there were flash mobs. There were fans who were suddenly, you could see on the Facebook page itself, there was one fan who actually came up and said, who actually put a comment saying, hey, I want to do my own Whistle Podu video. I am actually in UK and I have a friend who is in Australia. So I'm looking for somebody in South Africa. They wanted to go to all the iconic stadiums across the country. Across the world, like the Lords and the Melbourne Stadium and all these things. They wanted to have somebody wear a CSK jersey and dance in front of that and then set it to a Whistle Podu tune. So we actually, looked at it and we didn't even notice it at that point in time because it's so many comments, right? It was just like, you didn't notice. So, but apparently somebody actually got in touch with him and said, okay, here is a friend, he's in South Africa. So somebody has couriered a CSK jersey from Chennai to South Africa for him to wear and then to dance. And then, so there was this video that came out. And then suddenly one of the other fans actually pointed out and said, hey, have you guys seen this thing? And we're like, no, we haven't. Oh, this is really amazing, right? So it actually, all that we did was we actually said, hey, you know what? I think this year yours is going to be the official CSK. And he was like, really, really? And he was just so ecstatic. The guy was based at that point in time, I think in UK or in the US, I'm not sure. He actually flew down to India so that he could actually watch the video that he had made come during the IPL matches. Right? So that was the kind of crazy love that people had for the team. All we had to do was to just tap into that thing, right? And so, which is why when, we actually came back after the ban, even before the ban, once they had announced that we were going to come back that year, even on that day, the number of people who uploaded their own videos, okay, of their own Whistle Podu, and this should be the way that, so there would be people who would be writing and saying, don't do this boring things. This time we want cool looking models and, you should shoot this and you should shoot that. And, the kind of, and there would be people who would make their own videos and they would post it. And the kind of talent that we saw was remarkable. So, which is why for the comeback video, in the beginning, we actually did this.
இல்ல பத்தல இன்னும் மாசம் மஞ்சள் புரட்சி வெடிக்கும் உன் கண்ணில் மின்னல் தெரிக்கும் உன் மட்டை நிறுத்துறான் பத்தல இன்னும் மாசம் பாஸ் நம்ம மியூசிக் இருக்குல்ல ஸ்டார்ட் தி விசில்ஸ்.
So basically, yeah, the only thing that I wanted to show you over there was that, there are people who are more invested in Whistle Porter than, the original creators. And I think that all we can do is to just salute and celebrate them, right? So that has actually been the core principle behind everything that we do in CSK, right? It's about celebrating the fans, about putting the fans in the center, and about, because it's remarkable. See, as an ad agency, I get paid by Chennai Super Kings to do this, right? But imagine the fans who have absolutely no vested interest in, but they still sit and they spend those number of hours making either a meme or a video or something about your product. That guy is the guy to be celebrated. He is the guy to be treasured, right? And you do everything that he wants you to do just so he is happy, he continues to be your fan, right? That is all. That is the only guiding principle. If there's only one takeout that I can give you, is that this is just keep the fan in the center, keep your consumer in the center. You will never go wrong, right? But the grassroots connect is not just a creative route, right? It's not just, you just have one Whistle Porter video and life is not going to be the be all and end all of that. It has to be when you talk about a grassroots connect, you really need to mean it, right? You just can't have some two people in one lungi and one, bus conductor coming here and there, and that's not grassroots connect, right? Which is why, if you look at it, every possible way, we have tried, at the end of the day, we have a team of international players, right? Even Dhoni, although he is now known as Tala, and we have given him like honorary voter ID card and ration card from Chennai, that still doesn't mean that, I mean, he's still a North Indian guy, and Raina is again, he's from North India. So the challenge for us was to see, how do you build a connect? I mean, how do you make the team fall in love with Chennai, and how do you make Chennai fall in love with that team, right? That has been something that we're constantly working towards. And some of it is a hit, some of it is a miss, right? It's easy for us to some extent because obviously, I mean, like, we are at the end of the day a cricket crazy city. But here's something else that
Chennai Super Kings பெரிய விசில் அடிங்க. நம்ம சூப்பர் லோக்கலுக்கு பெரிய விசில் அடிங்க. நம்ம சூப்பர் குத்துக்கு பெரிய விசில் அடிங்க. Chennai Super Kings ke
right? So, it was about constantly trying to get that flavor, that whole Chennai flavor, the whole Tamil flavor. And suddenly what we found was that, there were people who are not even Chennai. It's like this guy, for instance, I think he's from Canada, if I'm not mistaken. And suddenly, I mean, like, he just sent us this thing. I mean, like, he has the Chennai Super Kings tattooed on his shoulder, and you have like the diaspora people who took pictures of car number plates with Whistle Porter and CSK Rock somewhere in the US, and they kept sending this to us. And then suddenly you realize that what you're doing is actually making your fan, I mean, like, taking Chennai to the world and making the world more Chennai, right? So that was the, I mean, like, we're constantly trying to do this thing. But at the end of the day, it's not just about saying things, right? I mean, like, a lot of us, I mean, like, in the sphere of social media, it's all about, what you say, and what is your tone of voice and everything else. Agreed, that absolutely plays a very, very vital role. But what really matters is actions, right? And thankfully, I mean, like, we were able to actually deliver on what the brand really stood for. So whether it was the Junior Super Kings, right? I mean, today every IPL team worth its salt has a juniors tournament, a school level tournament where they're identifying talent. Well, the Chennai Super Kings started this in 7 years back, and till today this is not a money making proposition. We're not doing this for the revenue that it generates. In fact, I don't think it generates revenue at all. This is basically about connecting with cricket fans, cricket players, even from the time that they are in the schools, right? And there is a larger, I mean, today, I mean, the number of people, the number, so when we started out, it was only for, some specific schools in Chennai. And then from there, it went on to lots of schools in Chennai and then in the neighboring districts. Today, we cover 11 districts and have around 152 teams participating in this, right? And the winners of this tournament actually get to go abroad. The last time's winners went to UK, I think, and they actually played with an under-19 team or an under-16 team. I'm not sure which one, but they actually played in UK. I mean, they played a test match and they played a T20 match in UK, and that is the reward that these guys get. Number of people today, whether it's in the TNPL or even in IPL, Washington Sundar was actually a Junior Super King. I mean, he was actually the first professional tournament that he played was the Junior Super Kings tournament. Shah Rukh Khan, Lokeshwar, Daryl. These are guys who are today playing for their districts, for their state, for various league matches, and they were all identified in the Junior Super Kings, right? So it is about not just when you say that you care for Chennai and when you care for Tamil Nadu and when you care for cricket, it is not lip service. This was actually done. The amount of effort. It's not so much even the money that goes into the creation of a tournament like this. It's just the sheer effort involved in organizing these things, in getting umpires, in getting floodlit stadiums booked, the kind of matches. I mean, like I remember. At the inauguration of the last Junior Super Kings tournament, L. Balaji was the chief guest. And he said, boss, until I actually started playing for the state, I didn't even see a Kukubara ball. And these guys, they're still in school, right? They have absolutely no professional experience. And these guys are playing with a Kukubara ball. He says the kind of exposure that these kids get, it is going to really enrich the quality of cricket in the state itself. And we're not doing, I mean, and this is not done with the hope that, these guys will come back and join the Chennai Super Kings when they hit that age. It is about just giving back to cricket, right? And it's about giving back to that state. Similarly, we also ran something called the Corporate Cup, which again, I mean, like, it was hugely well received. There were, I think, 8 sports that we looked at, because again, I mean, like, people, young working professionals happen to be the audience for Chennai Super Kings. So we said, is there something that we can do for them? And it was so well received. We ran it for 2 years. The third year, unfortunately, I mean, like, there was just so much of a demand saying that, increase the number of people. I mean, like, increase the number of corporates that can participate, and can you bring this to Bombay? Can you bring this to Bangalore? So we're still trying to figure out. I mean, we were supposed to do it in a big way this year. Unfortunately, yeah, one small virus is playing havoc with all our plans. But so this was something else that we did. This was another very offbeat thing that we did, which again was very, very hugely popular. we were saying that a lot of the fans, particularly those who are abroad, were like, my father is a huge Chennai Super Kings fan, and unfortunately he's been sitting at home and watching the matches, and he's cribbing, saying that it's happening over here, and he wishes, why can't you come down from the US and take me for one of these matches? So that actually gave us an idea, and you see that these comments going on Twitter and on Facebook, and you're like, okay, so is there something we can actually do? So we actually did this, where you could actually pay for a senior citizen, I mean, like your appa amma day out, and you would have them picked up by somebody from their house, brought to the stadium, where they would have a hospitality seat. There would be food and drinks that would be served. There would be a medical professional on standby in case of any kind of an emergency. And then they would be picked up back again from the stadium. They would be given a complete 5-star treatment. It was nominally priced for the kind of services that we got. We announced this thing, and there was a huge amount of enquiries and everything else. The tickets got sold out within 20 minutes of this thing opening, right? I mean, we couldn't accommodate like a huge thing, because it was also a huge risk for us to take. But then, I mean, like, so the kind of anything that we did, I mean, like, if there was, and the number of, I mean, we actually had like a few people come and tell us how lovely it was, and how they were all taken back to their college days, when these old 60 plus people. They said that the last time I came to a stadium was when I was in college, and I bunked college to come and watch a match, and to see my team play over here. And thankfully, I mean, like, that match, the boys on the field actually won, so obviously that was like a double, they were thrilled. So these were things that we're constantly looking at doing, and saying, okay, constantly listening and saying, okay, what is it that we can do for the fans? What is it that would it, if we're all fans ourselves, it's just like, would I be thrilled to bits with this? How can I surprise the fans? I mean, like, so in this situation, the most awaited thing, right, was, how do you announce the super comeback? Once the ban was lifted, how do you announce that, you're actually coming back? The team is actually coming back. So this one, actually, I can't take credit for. None of us can take credit for. This entire credit goes to only one person, who you will see. What we actually requested was, we requested somebody in Dhoni's team to say, instead of, because at that point in time, officially, Dhoni was still a part of RPSG, right? I mean, he was still playing for them. And because the ban was lifted after the previous IPL was over. So until December, his contract was there till December, so which means he couldn't officially say anything. So we just said, look, can you get Sakshi or Ziva to, like, just wear something yellow and just post something on Facebook or on Instagram? We'll take care of the rest. This is what Dhoni, on his own accord, he posted. And it just went berserk from there. Okay, so CSK, hashtag CSK returns started trending. There were all the old players. None of us, we hadn't asked them. We hadn't asked Hayden. We hadn't asked Tyrus. We hadn't asked Badri. We didn't ask any of these people to do anything, right? We actually thought, let's just do it as a kind of, a low-key kind of an affair, and not really, because at the end of the day, the ban is still a ban, and you didn't want to bring notice back to it, right? So we just said, look, let's just come and that's also the CSK way, talk less, do more. But it started trending, and hashtag CSK returns remained on the top of the India trend for the next 2 days. Okay, so it was, again, all organic, absolutely no money paid anywhere, right? So Fever FM actually came on board, and they said, we want to do something. So we're like, okay, go ahead and do something. I mean, we don't have a plan, but you guys go ahead and do this. So, and then this, I don't know how many of you follow us on social media, but again, when it came to time to announce the retention, right? Uh, so that was a really interesting thing. Uh, so Star Sports had a program where they wanted to announce all the team retentions at one unified time live on television, and they wanted viewership for that, right? So they told us, uh, do not announce the retention until it goes live on television. But obviously, the fans already knew. In fact, the fans are actually more abreast with all the happenings in IPL as compared to the social media team. In fact, right now we've kind of given up. We said, look, fans, I mean, like, you guys know it. So you just tell us so that, I mean, like, we are prepared for it when it happens. So the fans are like, look, I know that you've submitted it to the IPL committee. So why can't you release it? Why can't you release it? Why can't you release it? And obviously, our fans are the most important to us. But at the same time, Star is the broadcaster. You don't want to antagonize them. They're the ones who paid like so many crores to, air the matches. So obviously, that there is a lot at stake. So we just went and that was so that we put up a post saying 378. Madras is 378. So are we. Because that year coincided with the 378th birthday of Chennai, right? The minute we did that, all the fans understood instantly, right? And so Twitter again got hijacked, and these guys were like, guys, we just told you. I said, oh, we didn't announce. We didn't put up a post saying, we didn't put Tony signing. We didn't put anybody signing. But it was doing these cheeky things. And I mean, like on Twitter, we officially announced saying that, look, we will not be able to announce it until such time as it goes on Star. So the fans immediately, they were like, give us a hint and give us this and give us that. And then the minute we put this post, everybody figured it out. Right. So even, I mean, on that day, we added more fans actually than, in the past, like several months combined. Simply because we were just being cheeky and we said, the fans are more important to us than anybody else, right? And the fans just adored that thing. So then obviously the season started and promptly the Kaveri issue came up. So for political reasons, we couldn't keep the matches in Chennai. So again, huge hit for us. I mean, like, because see, as a fan, I mean, like, there's nothing that comes close to that this thing. So we were speaking, and then the client actually said, okay, so the fans can't come to Chepauk. I mean, the matches can't happen in Chepauk, but why can't the fans go to where the matches are? So like, boss, it's in Pune. Yeah? I mean, like, it takes so much time. She said, okay, we can't fly them down there, but what if we booked a train? So the client actually said, okay, we will, I mean, like, investments, I mean, like, not investments. Chennai Super Kings said, let's hire a train, right? And that train will only carry Super Kings fans from Chennai, and it will go to Pune. These guys will be given tickets to watch the match and come back. Their food, their accommodation, their tickets, everything will be taken care of, completely free. We're like, are you serious? They're like, yeah, how many people do you think will sign up for it? It's like 2 compartments, 3 compartments, 4 compartments. So we're like, I think we will need multiple trains. So he's like, okay. Okay, you guys just ask and then we'll figure out. So we asked, and the number of people who signed up was like incredible. And we hadn't even announced it on the official, I mean, like on the handles, because then it'll just go berserk and it can't handle it. So we just sent out words through, the various fan communities that we knew, saying, hey boss, what do you think? What do you think? Kind of thing. So the number that we got was like, so the first train, I think, took around 700 fans. And there was a waiting list of around some 4,000, 5,000 fans at least, right? So then we went back to the client and said, I think a lot of fans are disappointed. Do you think we can do this like one more time? You're like, okay, one more time. So we actually got the fans, and you should have seen that the social media at that point in time, right? It's a huge expense. It's a massive expense, and it makes no financial sense, right? uh, Purely from, I mean, like, I mean, imagine you're going, you're buying them tickets, you're organizing food for them, you have to take care of their safety right through. I mean, there were women who were on the train, so they had to be, I mean, like, you had to ensure that everything was fine, there was no cause for worry for anybody. And all of them had like what they came back and said was a fabulous experience. And it took them back to like their school and college excursion days. And because imagine it's an entire train filled with fans, right? The kind of videos and the kind of footage that we got from there, the kind of footage that the fans were putting through over there, Whistle Polo Express was trending for 2 days non-stop, right? And I mean, those videos clock so many views, it's not funny, right? So yeah, I mean, if you put a metric to that, yeah, maybe, I mean, like, this was worth it. But it's just about, understanding and empathizing with the fans and saying that, yeah, I know that you're disappointed. Let's see what we can do to make it better for you, right? It's not I mean, like, you're not here to sell them tickets, you're not here to sell them merchandise, you're not here. In fact, a lot of people, I went to when you see on the footage, a lot of the people, even on the train, were wearing fake CSK t-shirts, right? This is not, this is not a, it's not a means to sell a brand. It's just a means to create a connection with the fans, and that will have the multiplier effect, hopefully. Right now, against all odds, the Daddy's Army, as we were now called, we won the IPL. Okay, and we couldn't have had a better comeback, but there was still that niggling doubt, because we never actually said anything about the ban, about that 2 years, the missing 2 years. Who better than Dhoni to say it with, right? So there was, I mean, during the 2 years of the ban, that was the worst time to be handling social media, because one, you had people who were trolling you, who were saying that, so Apo, all this time you guys were just cheating, that's how you all won. So it's like, boss, you can cheat, but if you're cheating, you can only cheat to lose, no? You can't cheat to win. If you're cheating to win, that means that the other person is taking money, not us. But, you can't say any of those things, because obviously there's like huge number of legal issues that were there. And what I think the fans really were very upset about was, and we would get DMs throughout the day on this, saying, so many people who are saying so many nasty things. Why are you guys not responding? If you guys are not responding, does it mean that what they're saying is true? Right? And we would go back to the client and say, look, this fan is asking this. Why can't we say something? Why can't we say this? Why can't we say this? And the client said, no, you have to just stay quiet. Just stay quiet. Just stay quiet. We're like, huh. But thankfully, I mean, like, this thing that was there on Hotstar, I don't know how many of you guys got to see it. This is actually one of the most watched videos on Hotstar ever, right? And it's about an IPL controversy at the end of the day. So obviously now when you have, so this is all about, everybody trolling you and calling you a Daddy's Army. We said, okay, if life gives you a lemon, then make lemonade out of it. So you have a Ziva, you have, Watson's kids, you have Imran Tahir's kids, you have Pesia, obviously. And so we just said, okay, now let's just come up and make content out of that. I mean, Ziva is clearly, I mean, like, she's completely taped up. Yeah, this is her father is nothing compared to her. So, it's all about building that See, at the end of the day, yes, we are a sporting team, but it's about, as a fan, you don't just want to see the sixes and the fours. Of course, you want to see the sixes and the fours, especially if it's a last ball four, last ball six, and there's a match winning six. Obviously, you want to see that over and over again. But you want to see these people as human beings as well. And this gave us an opportunity. So we said, okay, come on, let's do content around this. And that again added like a huge number of followers for us. And there is that entire spirit of camaraderie between the players, their families, and the fans. That kind of unites us all into this spirit which we called Ye Love right now. I don't know if you've seen this video. Strangely, Twitter released some analytics, and it said that with the exception of a few highlights packages from the finals and the semifinals, this one was actually one of the most watched videos of the season, right? And nothing athletic about it. It's just two kids coming and running and one more not so young kid chasing them.
When I see Chennai, I know I'm on my way. I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. All the things you do to me and all the things you say. I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. Because when you cut that dry, I just can't seem to get enough of that. I'm about to ride it.
So this was, like that, it was just about capturing that spirit, right? That spirit of what it meant to be a part of the Chennai Super Kings. So that was the only task given to the two boys who were privileged enough to actually travel with the team. And so they're the secret, Leo, they're the secret behind why the Chennai Super Kings over the last few years actually has, so all this 378, everything is actually credit to the two boys who are in the team, who are very, very shy and therefore don't want me to name them. But yeah, they're pretty much the reason why the team is doing so well on social media. So just because it's a social media day and, I've not given you any numbers whatsoever. And I saw that, the other speakers all had lots of charts, which I'm very poor at math, so you have to forgive me. So one, is good to be number two when you're also number one. So this is just from 2019, where if you just look at the hashtag mentions, the first two hashtags are Chennai Super Kings and the rest of them are the other teams. Okay. And this is very dated, but yeah, this is the following that we have across various social media. So coming now to the learnings after, I think, what has been a really long session. Give your brand a purpose, to a reason to exist, right? And it's not just about sales, it's not about numbers, it's not about that. It has to have something more central. Why do you as an individual appeal to your consumer as an individual, right? Define your brand's character and personality and stick to it no matter what. I mean, like, your players change, your players stay the same, your players have gotten older, your players are out of form, your players are in form. It doesn't matter. This is who you are, and this is the way you talk, and this is the way you behave. Okay, let your consumer own the brand and shape its narrative. That's how cult brands are. Go with the consumer. I mean, he don't do this whole copyright infringement and that and this. It doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, all these things. At the end of the day, does he love your brand? That's all that counts, right? Know your target audience and speak their language. Celebrate your consumers at every occasion, and be as social as you can be. Have conversations, don't just broadcast. In fact, there are a lot of times when, we've gone for 2 days, 3 days on Twitter and on Facebook without having a single post. Okay, and even during season time, it's just like, we don't do ball by ball commentary. We don't do things like that. But when we do come in and we do say something, when you have something to say, come and say it. Okay, and always understand why is your consumer following you. If he wants a ball by ball commentary, he can go to Cricinfo. He doesn't need to come to you. So understand what he is coming here for. Be a fan, speak like a fan, and you will be able to. And don't forget to whistle for the people. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have for you.
That's brilliant. I mean, throughout the session, I was just doing only 2 expressions. One is like showing all my teeth and laughing. The second one is like, wow, is it true? And I'm like zooming inside to see, did it say like 1.9 million mentions? Did it say like 12.5 million followers? So brilliant. And audience, the people who are like listening now, the first time when I met Bala, it's like, I still remember very vividly their firm and their whole office and everything over there. They said me that they're going to take me to this person who is handling Chennai Super Kings for branding lessons. And when I just heard this, I said, I don't want to go. I really don't want to go. Then they started adding up, telling things like she's also handling India Cements. She's Dhoni's personal branding. And I was planning it in my mind, how can I just kill this day in the office? Like, should I write in I'm sick? Should I write in something like that? It was so scary for me to go and talk to her because like such a legend, what do I go and tell it to her? What if I ask a very silly question? What if like she speaks all this tech jargons and I don't even understand anything at all? So that's the biggest concern for me. But when I met her, I asked her just one question like, how do I create content? And she said me, you are looking content in online. That's your first failure step. Get down to business. Like she was telling, roll up your sleeves, take a phone, call one of your customers, sit down and talk with her. Then you will have plenty of content to do. You will never ever change the course of track. And today I am again hearing the same. It is giving me lots and lots of boots. Whatever she said that day, I just followed it for roughly 2 months and I gained like 1K organic followers. You will not believe, guys. Like I just did only one thing. She said, whenever you don't know what content that you have to put, take one of your customer call, just talk to them. You just talk to them, you will have idea what content you have to put. I just kept repeating this. And like now it's been like roughly close to 2 months of what she was telling us to do. The whole brand idea, the whole brand personality, that all changed. And we did not even realize that we were gaining followers just because of this. All of a sudden, one day they asked us to pull the analytics chart and we saw like, what, how did we get like, where did all this 1,000 people come from? Like who was doing what? We did not even have an idea. And when we kind of narrowed it down, we found that we did put our consumer at the center at the end of the day. We were creating story around them. And it's such a brilliant, Bala, like to have you here and to take through this entire journey and talking about this all, it's super cool. So I have actually one very, I don't know, is it like a cheeky question or this is like bugging into my mind. So when we were talking about the Whistle Podu anthem, you were more targeting about the Chennai people. So
Right.
when it comes to Chennai, it's a mixed crowd. I mean, cricket lovers also come from the hardcore North classic Madras. And you'll also have this posh boys from Nungambakam too. So, I mean, who was like deciding what tone I should be using? Like they'll have a different taste. I mean, even when it comes to food, the palate is different for them, and the
Correct.
palate is different for them. They are like two entire set of crowd with entire different personalities. Of course, cricket is connecting them, but they resonate to things in a very different way, right? So, like, what was your thinking behind this when it comes to here? What is your primary focus on that time?
See, there is no, see, that every one of us is different, right? I mean, like, but there are some things that unite us. If you looked at the initial CSK whistle-poured video, there would also be like an old 60-year-old Brahmin lady who will be dancing alongside these North Madras looking boys. Okay, she will be, in fact, the previous this thing, she would be making a column saying whistle poured, and in the next this thing, she would be standing and doing that step alongside these North Madras boys. But that is what Chennai is, no?
Okay.
It is the Nungambakam boy. That Nungambakam boy will never go and have tea in the local tea kadai. Of course he will,
He does. Okay.
right? And it's not. See, there are. I mean, like, don't look at what differentiates or divides people. Look at what unites people.
We were so much eager to know whether you will be revealing us the mastermind behind the Twitter handle of CSK. Like we get to know any names, like we get to know what kind of routine they follow when it comes to keeping the social media presence so live.
Okay, I am not at liberty to reveal his name. But obviously, if any of you are keen, then all you guys need to do is, once this lockdown is over, come over to my office at any point in time, and you guys can get a personal introduction to it. The one thing that we have maintained from the very beginning is that there should not be a routine.
Wow.
It's true. When was we all know, I mean, like, I wake up in the morning. I have a 3-year-old son, right? Most of the time, I wake up before he wakes up so that I get some time to myself. First thing I do, I check out Instagram or Facebook. When was the last time any of you checked out a Facebook to say, hey, in the brand la edha page potrupanga post? Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Right? You just keep scrolling. If you don't post for 2 days, nobody's going to miss you. Okay. If you have something meaningful to say, then get online and say it. Just because something is trending and it has no connection whatsoever with your category, don't put up something. Hey, I don't know what thankfully, I mean, like, I have with all the social media clients that I handle, we have this thing. We say that, the client normally, I mean, like, the other social media agencies, they say, oh, between 2:30 and 2:33, if you post something, then it will start going viral at 4 o'clock. And at 5 o'clock, we will catch this Eastern time zone and Western time zone. Hey, I don't think it works that way. Okay. Yeah, okay. Don't put up something at 2 o'clock at midnight and then expect it to trend. Yeah, that is common sense. But the point is, how often do you, as a Kritika, as an individual, I don't follow you on Facebook. How often do you post?
I don't post at all in my Facebook. I am like pretty much inactive on my Facebook account. Okay, but like when it comes to general social media, if you're asking, Bala, like when it comes to Instagram, you can tell me one, and also LinkedIn. So when it comes to LinkedIn, many times I have thought like weekly I should maintain some 3, weekly I should maintain some 4. But like I end up at certain point when I'm writing down content, I feel like this doesn't make sense and I don't want to post it. I just chuck it out. Whenever I feel like I want to post it, I get down and I write and then I post it.
So when you do that when you follow that for your personal page, why should a brand be any different?
Exactly. Okay.
So that is I'm, as I told you, I am not an expert on social media. Okay. I don't yes, I do look at all these analytics and everything else. At the end of the day, that's just a guiding force. I mean, like, I think that is not a rule, that's not a be all and end all, right? When you have something interesting to say, I mean, there are points in time where, we've started some Twitter conversations with some fan, and he'll be sitting in some Australia or something like that, and it'll go on till some early morning, or 2 hours, 3 hours, we'll be chatting with that guy, right? There are points in time where you're not on social media. In fact, there are lots of times. At least now it's a little more streamlined. Earlier, during the initial stages, it was just me and my partner Choka who were handling the social media pages. At that point in time, and both of us are very, very absent-minded, people who should never be trusted with something like this. But there was nobody else who was doing it, so I know we had to do it. We've forgotten to create posts for festivals. The Pongal will come on a Sunday, and we'll be like, Sunday morning, we didn't create any posts for Pongal. Da. What do we do now? It's like, and then you call up, no, desperately try calling up the designer, and the designer will be like, dude, I came to my village. How can I do it right now? And you're like, okay, okay, we will try and we will adjust somehow. But it doesn't matter. Look, if you have something important to say, then obviously, I mean, like, some player is announcing his retirement. I mean, some player from your team is announcing his retirement. Obviously, you need to come out and you need to say something, right? Some really important thing. I mean, like, some player in your team has hit some record-winning number of runs, or record number of wickets. Obviously, you have to say something. Something dramatic is happening in the cricketing world. Obviously, you need to say something, right? But those are all very contextual. I mean, like, something happens and you're reacting to it. So you have to do those things. But otherwise, don't let these it gets very annoying. It's just like, just because it is some, I don't know, World Milk Day. Who decided it was a World Milk Day in any case? I don't understand. Okay. And there will be somebody, some brand that has absolutely nothing to do with that. Some Dettol or some floor cleaner or something like that will come and say something on World Milk Day. Like, why? What is the connection between you and milk? No, you look at it. It just makes sense. I mean, like, as friends, right? If there was a Vijay Padam that was releasing, will you call up all your neighbors and tell them, hey, Vijay Padam releasing tomorrow, all the best to Vijay? You say that, you won't know. Maximum, what will you do? You'll call up that one guy who is a Vijay fan, whom you know, who is your best buddy, and you say, hey, Machan, there's Vijay fan, you bought tickets, no? You want me to buy tickets for you? You got no? That you will do, right? But just because there's a Vijay Padam releasing, why does every brand have to have some point of view on Vijay Padam releasing? It has nothing to do with you. Go create your opportunity. Don't try to ride on. When was the, and then everybody will do this one hashtag something day. Okay. When was the last time any of us searched for World Milk Day as a hashtag? Nobody will. Only other fellow jobless marketers like you and me will search for that thing. Why? Because we want to know what the competition is doing. Hey, that brand, they did something or no. Okay. But otherwise, your consumer doesn't care about World Milk Day. Honestly, trust me.
Yes, agreed. Totally sold out to that. Okay. And like, when it comes to you are narrating the whole idea, I see that fans were celebrating the CSK team. And of course, that's the epitome of any social media success. Like, when your consumer is like taking you and they are like celebrating you in offline or online, we know that we did something right and they are loving us.
Absolutely.
But right now, I see a lot of memes trending. And even when CSK was back in that time also, there were like a lot of memes. Were you focusing memes as like some part of your social media strategy? Maybe like reaching out to some influencer page or a fan follower page.
Nothing. And we don't reach out to anybody, and we retweet, we reshare what memes have been done, as long as they don't politically affect anybody's sentiments or hurt anybody or are particularly meet. If they're not, then we tend to. There's a certain code. I mean, like, because as a sporting brand, you can't be outrageously hurtful of somebody else's, particularly. It's a non-sporting spirit. If it's not in the sporting spirit, then we don't retweet those or share those. But otherwise, it is only about celebrating. We don't actually do too many memes. We've collaborated with one or two fans who have done memes for us, and we've shared those on our page. But on our own, I mean, unless there is something that's really funny or something that really demands that thing, we don't really do memes.
Okay. Thank you, Bala. Thank you so much. And
Also,
when it
guys, we at least know it's a him, the Twitter handle.
No, it's definitely a him. It's definitely a him.
Okay, it's getting pretty interested because like people were all bugging with their head like who is sitting behind every social media channel account of the Chennai Super Kings. We just want to know the person behind that laptop screen or the mobile phone. Just like, get down, catch him or catch her. We'll take a cup of coffee and we will just simply download everything from their brain. And then we'll start uploading it to our server. It's like that amount of content is being coming out from CSK. Even at the time, there was like, CSK was not part of IPL. There was one post that I felt it was so emotionally touching. Even Rajasthan Royals was also not at that time part of the IPL.
Right.
And after CSK did this, Rajasthan Royals, I mean, I don't want to say the term copied, but I saw they kind of mimicked the same. CSK tweeted out telling that there is a family reunion, and the hashtag started to trend along with the yellow love. It was super cool. After a while, Rajasthan Royals was also tweeting the same with their group picture, telling the reunion is back, the halls are back. It was amazing. You were influencing not just your fans but also your rivalry brands too. They were also like looking out for content from you. That's brilliant. So when it comes to like measuring the success of the CSK's social media strategy, do you like go with an analytics like based on the tickets that you are selling, or is it like purely how much engagement rate you are creating in the social media?
Hey, this is a $1 million question. There is no right answer or wrong answer for this. See, at the end of the day, there's a team of sponsors who for whom it is critical in the sense that that we have an engaged user base, right? But it's really it's difficult to measure. It's not see, at the end of the day, Chennai Super Kings is a brand, okay, and social media is one of the at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's a medium, right? It is one medium on which the brand exists. It exists on multiple media. It exists in Hotstar in terms of this thing. It exists on the ground where you actually go and watch the matches. It exists in merchandise. So it's a collective. And social media at the end of the day is just a communication channel. And I think that we need to keep that perspective in place, that you are at the end of the day measuring the success of one communication channel. It is a very vital communication channel. There is no doubt about it. But that's all there is. The brand is not the Facebook page. The brand is not the Twitter account. The brand is larger than that. So as a communication channel, yes, the engagement rate is what I would go by, not so much the number of followers, because we actually have a far smaller we're probably number 2 in terms of Facebook, number 2 again in terms of Twitter, right? No, number 1 in terms of Twitter. But in terms of the following, but there are other IPL teams who invest in terms of acquiring fans, right? We don't do page-like campaigns. We've never done tweet promotions. We've never done these things. We've never done Instagram promotions. We've never done these things. Yes, we have done promotions to when a licensed partner has like some 50% off on that t-shirt that Kaushik is wearing, then we will say, hey, put one link over here and then take them there. Those promotions we have done, but we have never actually spent money on actually trying to acquire fans for us. Okay, so it's not an apples to apples comparison. If you know that somebody else is actually buying page likes and you're not, then it's difficult to compare followers to follower. Engagement as a percentage of your follower base, I think is a true measure to look at, and that is the only measure that we really focused on. And it's more the fan sentiment, I mean, like, which is not easily available on a dashboard. I mean, like, you just can't open one Google Chrome window and then say, Inniki, what is the fan sentiment? Difficult. It's not. It's very, very subjective, and I mean, and in a page that is the size of Chennai Super Kings, it's difficult to really have a grasp on that. But sooner or later, you will know. I mean, like, that there would be some fan who will be tweeting you at some 10:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock. You would have put up one post, and 10:30 he'll say, hey, today was nice, or today's was not so okay. So, like, you have to take it with a pinch of salt, because I mean, like, because the same post that somebody said was fantastic, somebody else will come and say it's rubbish. I don't know why Twitter CSK is doing something like this. It's very disappointed and all that. So, like, okay. So yeah, but having the fan sentiment pulse, I think that is a lot more important. I haven't seen a social media analytics tool that gives me that yet. But if anybody knows, then please let me know. I'd like to test it out.
Sure, Bala. I mean, like, I think before we knowing for ourselves, you will definitely know. And again, we'll be coming back to you asking, could you please teach us what is that?
Hey, I'm telling you, I'm not a social media expert at all. It's just, just because we manage.
You are very modest, actually. I must say this. I have met you in person and I know this for sure. You are the most modest person I have ever met in my life.
I have not even tried out a lot of these analytics tools. I mean, like, a lot of them I'll sign up and say, okay, free, okay, let's try this. Then I'll get bored and I'll say, hey, but it's not giving me anything. I don't even spend too much time actually looking through to see if there was some other way. I haven't done that. I mean, like, to be honest, if I had that time, I'd rather think of some nice thing to do on social media rather than, look at this analytics.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so then this one more doubt when we were like talking about this coupons links putting up for the t-shirt that Kaushik is wearing, and even maybe for that Whistle Pode Express trains you were talking, and
Right.
those kinds of things is like kind of a barter deals that you were trying to promote the brand, and also there was like you are trying to improve the number of tickets like for the IPL sign up through for CSK plans. So when it comes to social media strategy, does this offers, discount coupons, and also the barter deals that people are telling, does social media have an influence on them?
Yes and no. I mean, thankfully, see, as far as tickets are concerned, we don't have to worry about it. We only have to announce that, a ticket sales opens, and then so far, I mean, like, of course, you never know how things change. But so far, we've never had to worry about ticket sales. With regard to this thing, definitely we've had. See, this is not directly sold by most of it. Most of the promotions are not done directly by CSK, but done by the licensed partners. So, which means there's a company which actually pays a certain amount of money to Chennai Super Kings to be able to manufacture CSK t-shirts or CSK bags or shoes or whatever it is, right? So they actually run promotions on the social media channels of CSK, and I think it has worked quite well for them. I mean, like, I don't see any reason why otherwise they would keep coming back year after year and asking for more and more and more. As the admin on the other side, I mean, like, our challenge is actually to try and see that fans don't get overwhelmed with this kind of coupons and this thing, and that, because at the end of the day, you're following CSK not to see the coupons, but to see the content, right? So I don't want to lose fans or to drop engagement because of this. But I understand that so it's just about finding that balance. That's more my role.
Okay, so but when it comes to times like this, like non-IPL times, like right now, do you think like you have any other platforms or techniques apart from social media to engage with the fans at a times like this? Like this is a complete non-IPL time, and it's almost completely the world has shut down for many other things, not just for IPL. But during times like this, do you think anybody, not just CSK, but anybody else who is not relevant to the current situation, do they have to have some techniques or other platforms where they have to be engaging with their fans, consumers, customers? If so, how do I do that?
See, I think that there is, at the end of the day, we are all human beings, and we all want that connection, which is why, there is Facebook, there's Instagram, there is Twitter, there is Snapchat, there is TikTok, there is fireworks, and then there'll be some India-based thing that will come up, and then that will go away, and then something else will come up. So, yeah, I think that the opportunities are going to be there. In my view, Chennai Super Kings, the way I would define it right now, is as much a media brand as it is a sports brand, right? In the sense that you are interested in consuming non-cricketing content that comes out of Chennai Super Kings. So whether it is a Ziva cheering for her dad, or Watson's kids running around with Imran Tahir's kids, or whatever it is. I mean, like, and as a brand, we are also interested in our fans. I mean, like, and we would like to stay with them through this season as well. So I don't know if you caught it, but we just did a series of one-on-one interviews between the players and an interviewer, Rupa, which actually went off really, really well. In fact, almost all the interviews that we did, and it was on Insta Live basically, the next day they would keep getting covered in an India Today page, or in any of these meme pages or any of these cricket pages. They would take up nuggets from there and they would try and do that. So right now, in fact, our role has actually become even more important as compared to earlier, because earlier there was the players who were hitting the sixes and the fours, and they were winning or losing games, and all the attention was there. Now it's up to what we create that actually catches and holds or lets go of people's attention. So you want to be there in people's minds in an interesting way, so you have to find ways of communicating. But we personally stayed away from doing a campaign around, wear masks, and everybody is saying the same thing. So if everybody is saying the same thing, unless I have something new to add to it, then why say that same thing? So we said, okay, let's just do something with the players. Took a lot of time, and we were actually very late on the bandwagon, but hopefully the content was worth it. So.
Okay, it's a brilliant session. I see Kaushik has unmuted his mic, so over to you, Kaushik.
If we do not jump in, the team is gonna keep bombarding you with questions, Bala.
Exactly.
We have been super excited for this. Like, the entire team's like, no, I'm joining this no matter what, as we were telling you. Thank you so much, Bala. This has been incredible. Like, I had so many goosebumps moments. I'm not even kidding. And like my whole diehard craze for Chennai Super Kings and Chennai as a whole. Like, the entire thing has been elevated to a different level now. Thank you so much, Bala.
Thank you guys for having me. I hope I didn't waste too much of your time with this.
These were brilliant, some golden nuggets, and it was extremely natural the way how we spoke about so many things, like putting our customers in the forefront of everything. And always having it as people centric and people driven. Those were beautiful points, Bala. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this.
I'm definitely dropping by the office. I'm taking you up on that, and I will definitely see you in the office as soon as we open up.
Most certainly, always welcome.
All right, Bala, where can people find you, Bala, when they want to talk to you about anything? Which platforms can they find you on?
I am actually very, very poor on social media. We have an open page on Facebook. We're not actually open. The advertising agency doesn't even have its own website. Yeah, very secretive. Or actually, we're just very lazy. I mean, yeah, hopefully the website should come up soon. But yeah, you can find us on Facebook, and you can write to me. You can write to me at bala@thinkopn.in. I respond. I'm very old world that way. I respond still to emails and now to WhatsApps. So.
That beautiful. Thank you so much again, Bala. Well, hey guys, as we are gonna go back, Bala just spoke about how they're gonna be featuring everyone's content, right? How about we all whistle Podu as well and send that out and hopefully get featured by Bala and OPN next time.
Yay! Come on, do that.
Done. So let's all whistle Podu for both all the storytellers, Bala, Chennai Super Kings, and you. Thank you so much for spending your time. These 2 days have, as I said, been incredible. Thank you for supporting us. This will not be possible without you joining us. So thank you so much. So listen, this time I'm not going to ask you to give your top 2 takeaways. We already know it's be people centric, be driven. Bala has broken it down into such simple words for us to follow. What we're going to do now is celebrate Bala and all our heroes, all our digital heroes. Let's all whistle Podu for them and our social heroes. Thank you so much for joining again. We will see you there. Hold up, just before we leave, this summit will not be possible without you, our speakers, and our exquisite sponsors, HandySense. HandySense are the official partners of Twilio Sendrid, arguably one of the best mailing tools out there, right? These cool emails we're sending you, as I mentioned, will send you through HandySense as well. So make sure you check them out. They make the life of all developers and marketers alike easy. It's completely plug and play. Make sure you check them out, as I mentioned. And for the summit attendees, they have this cool 6 months for free offer, and their pro plans are at 20% off as well. Make sure you find the link down there, and we will see you in the next session. Make sure you send out all your social shares with hashtag #ThankYouSocial, thanking the power of social and our digital heroes.